What's going on, peeps? Oliver Tree is an artist that I've been aware of for a long while now. I've been wanting to do a video on him since I talked about his ex, Melanie Martinez. Unfortunately, I know him more for his wacky fashion sense and habit of crashing out than his discography. I'm just hoping this video doesn't make him as mad as Fantano's review of Ugly is Beautiful.
Well, I saw your fucking review.
It's not my fucking question.
7 you gave me. You
Suck my dick, you fuckface.
Fuck you, Anthony fucking fartface.
If you're not familiar, Oliver Tree is indeed a character, with a backstory that makes next to no sense due to the fact that his fans can't even tell if he's being serious or satirical. What we have is a genre-bending alternative artist, producer, and filmmaker from Santa Cruz, California. Tree has managed to build up a diehard fanbase through the years and mostly break out of the underground shell with plenty of popular songs like Life Goes On and Miss You. While the dude, creature, or however you want to describe him is successful, Tree has experienced a good amount of pushback for his art. It's gotten to the point where I don't even know if the general public likes or dislikes this man. As someone who has no bias for or against Oliver Tree, I think he'd be a fit candidate for my world famous series, The Appeal. This series is dedicated to covering controversial or pulverizing musical acts and creators to find out why people enjoy them as much as they do. Oliver appears to be both controversial and pulverizing, so let's figure out why. So today I want to deep dive into his chaotic discography and inspect all the elements of this character to uncover the appeal of Oliver Tree. Oliver Tree was born on June 29, 1993 in Santa Cruz, California. His music journey apparently began, let's be skeptical, we don't know what's true from this guy, at 3 years old where he was given piano lessons, before beginning songwriting at 4, and then crafting an album at 6. I don't believe that for a second. Anyway, this passion expanded as he entered Branciforte Middle School, singing and playing guitar in a ska band named Irony. After this, he went solo. Music was always a possible career for Oliver, as well as skating, but one experience would change everything. Around 2010, Tree had a life-changing event at a Burning Man festival during a family vacation, where he took 16 tabs of LSD and nearly died. He considered this experience as what pushed him to pursue music with all his heart, to escape from his drug addiction. During a semifinal for a skating tournament, he was speeding down a 25-foot ramp at 35 to 40 miles per hour until he hit a small pedal. He flew about 12 to 13 feet and landed with his hands out, breaking both wrists, injuring his thumb joint, and suffering a concussion. His right hand was nearly unusable, but his left still worked, enough for Tree to start learning how to produce music. He spent the next 5 months writing music in his bedroom, and Oliver created a SoundCloud account called Crinf, focusing on dubstep collaborations with local artists. Around this time, he also tried rapping and occasionally implemented it into his catalog. By then, he had already made connections within the EDM realm, putting together visuals for artists like Skrillex and Zed's Dead. He graduated from Harbor High School in 2011. In case music didn't work out, Tree spent 2 years studying business at San Francisco State University. The boy would then evolve into a more melodic bedroom pop sound with Aphex Twin-inspired electronic focus as he connected with other Santa Cruz Bay artists. Oliver changed his name from Crinf to Tree and performed at festivals like Wobbleland in San Francisco. His first record was initially scheduled for release in late 2011, but was postponed to spring 2012 and then delayed again in 2013. Delays will be a common theme within his history, just watch. Following 2 years of scraps and improving his craft on Ableton from his bedroom, Tree would release his first album, Splitting Branches, on February 17th, 2013, featuring some of his childhood friends. He later signed with London-based R&S Records after expressing interest in his SoundCloud and released his debut EP, Demons, on August 12, 2013. His ambitions paid off as his EP got the attention of the lead singer of Radiohead, Tom York. He praised Oliver's cover of Karma Police. His music got a bit of airplay on UK radio stations. However, just when things were going well and picking up, Oliver just went on hiatus to study music technology at the California Institute of the Arts. He would be gone for a few years from the public. Tree would return to the public in 2016, featured on Forget It by Gitter on March 11th. After the music video's release, it was aired on MTV. Then Oliver would hop on Vine with a video titled I'm Turbo on March 27, 2016, the first appearance of his bowlit wearing persona, Turbo. Yes, a bowl cut and a mullet. Fast forward to November, he made his television debut performing Forget It on Late Call of Carson Daly. But shortly after, We Thin released their upbeat collaboration When I'm Down on October 21st, 2016. A big success it was, as in 2017, Tree signed with Atlantic Records and graduated from California Institute of the Arts. On February 16, 2018, Tree released his first major label genre-bending EP, Alien Boy. He became known for his big budget music videos, and I mean big budget, like we're talking like millions of dollars, we'll get to it, and the hilarious clips he shares on social media. He further spread his music through various festival appearances and touring with several acts like Hobo Johnson. During 2018-2019, Oliver released singles that would later appear on his debut album. Messy rollout is an understatement. You can probably blame Atlanta for that. One song, Hurt, became a minor hit for him, with the music video hitting 1 million views in a week. I mean, good, it cost like $1 million, and obtained a lot of radio play and alt stations. Other big moments were the singlet Fuck and gold certified Miracle Man. In the meantime, Tree released his second EP, Do You Feel Me, on August 2nd, 2019. On December 6, 2019, Oliver released Cash Machine and announced his debut album, Ugly Is Beautiful. It was set for release on March 27th, 2020. However, you know the drill. On March 25th, he tweeted that the album would be delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This man can't catch a break. The new release date became June 12th. Just when he thought he couldn't delay it anymore, Oliver decided he had one more left in him. It was pushed back to its final release date of July 17th, 2020 due to the murder of George Floyd, which Oliver didn't see as an appropriate time to release, as more important things deserve the attention. 2020 was a hellhole, wasn't it? Despite being delayed like 5 times, being kidnapped, and teasing a retirement, it debuted at number 14 on the Billboard 200 and was later certified gold. Oliver would announce his retirement again, but I think fans knew the script by now. He gave us Out of the Ordinary on February 4th, 2021, announcing the deluxe release of his debut, Shorter, Thicker, and Uglier. But it featured one of his biggest global hits to date, Life Goes On, that was a TikTok staple. His first Hot 100 entry at number 71 and earned over 200 million streams. Oh, I guess Welcome to the Internet EP also happened on September 30th, 2021. After a 3, possibly 4 year-long rollout, the Ugly is Beautiful era was over. Next, Oliver Tree became a cowboy as country became cool again in 2022. On March 12, 2022, Tree released Cowboys Don't Cry, followed by Freaks and Geeks on February 4th, giving us his second album, Cowboy Tears, which was released on February 18th, 2022. I'm as shocked as you are this wasn't delayed. It wasn't received well by critics in comparison to his debut and peaked at number 60 on the Billboard 200. Quite a concerning drop from the last record. Oliver pushed for more singles and a deluxe on December 23rd, but this new cowboy persona wasn't working. It was a flop. Sophomore slump happens. However, we weren't done with Mr. Tree, as he likely sacrificed 5 goats Mahomes style to get this song, Miss You, with Robin Schultz. It was originally created by Southstar as a remix of Oliver's track Jerk. The song was basically remade, probably stolen by a bigger producer, Robin Schultz, to become Tree's most streamed song to date. We'll break the situation down in a later section, stay tuned. It would be repackaged as a bonus track as requested by Atlanta on his third album, Alone in a Crowd, released on September 29th, 2023. Other singles like Bounce, Essence, and One and Only were released in promotion for this record alongside a world tour. However, Alone in a Crowd was another commercial decline, debuted at number 143. At least it was received better critically. He appears to be teasing a 4th album, Love You Madly, Hate You Badly, as of lately. Hope this one matches the spark his OG fans saw in his older work. A common criticism we'll get to. As you can tell, Oliver has had a roller coaster of a history, full of bad management and unfortunate timing. Despite the mess, the man pulls great numbers on YouTube, showing he has a dedicated fanbase that will suffer through these weird rollouts and enjoy anything he puts out. You gotta respect it. The man has worked hard to craft this character of his, produce this music, direct those fascinating music videos, and get fans involved with whatever lore that's in store. I think that's what we'll talk about first, because I'm sure newcomers are confused. In order to keep his fans engaged besides just listening to his music, Oliver's created a world through his discography and videos, beginning with the most well-known character, Turbo, introduced in 2016 through several vines, as a smoking, scooter-obsessed boy centered around his childhood. He was apparently born on June 29th, 2003 within the circus. Turbo wears a vintage Vont Melt jacket in pink and blue with a yellow lining, paired with long jean code jeans. He has a bowlet, red glasses, and yellow teeth. Turbo has been described as rude, short-tempered, and emotional, often creating conflict in interviews. At one point, he was considering making the character a 30-year-old drug dealer, but scrapped the idea. During the Cowboy Tears era, we are introduced to Shawnee Bravo, born in the middle of July 1954 in Timbuktu. At 8 years old, Shawnee fell off a mechanical bull at a county fair and ended up in a coma for 6 years. When he finally woke up, he started speaking Spanish, which shocked his mom so much that she took him to a church. The priest assured her he was okay. He wears a blue denim outfit with a fringe jacket like Turbo's, skinny jeans, custom tee shades, a cowboy hat, and cowboy boots. He has a goatee and blonde mole-cut mullet inspired by the Chili Bowl mullet man. He also has a dog named Frankie inspired by Tree's actual dog. Other trees in the treeverse are Pre-Fame Tree, Scarlet Tree, Tuxedo Tree, Reaper Tree, and Motor Tree. Moving to Alone in a Crowd, where we meet Cornelius Cummings, born 1993 within England, which checks out with the Eurodance influence on the record. Cornelius has a black bob haircut and a mustache. He wears a long turtleneck ski jacket, shants, custom Balenciaga sock shoes. Later in life, Cornelius falls and cracks his skull at a runaway fashion charity show, suffering fractures in 18 places. He undergoes a grueling 69-hour brain surgery, during which he is diagnosed with main character syndrome. No wonder Fantano hated this album. After this, I guess this is where he adopted the name Oliver Tree and became a famous TikToker and the creator of Alien Boy clothing. During Bounce, he appears as Tuxedo Tree from Miss You before getting the same hairstyle as everyone else. He is then seen causing destruction throughout this era of videos, hurting people, and being on the run from television programming industry Meditech that are attempting to replace humanity. But in With You, it is revealed that all of this was just in his head, manipulated by Meditech, making Cornelius a fake character. He seemed to believe he was a famous fashion designer after the TV started malfunctioning. It seems like in each of these videos from the past decade, he is running from Meditech, who are attempting to kill him but fail after Oliver manages to clone himself into different bodies, changing his entire persona sometimes to avoid being caught. There are theories that he could be immortal, as he seems to die in most of his music videos, yet he just comes back to life in the next. I picture this as Oliver illustrating what Hollywood is, a cult of money-hungry dirtbags taking advantage of vulnerable artists to fit their agenda. Whatever the next chapter of this lore turns out to be, I'm sure the fans will be anticipating it. Just watch them. The detail is impeccable. We could be here all day if I was to attempt to describe every Oliver Tree music video. A fever dream with all types of meanings that could be interpreted in every way and still not be accurate. They might be the best part of his music in general, and his concerts will leave you impressed too. I mean, look at the views on these videos. He might not be a chart topper, but he gets views like he is. For the budget he seems to have, he better be getting a good payback. Reminder that Hurt is one of the most expensive music videos of all time at $1 million. Oliver's putting his entire life savings into every visual he puts out, sometimes refusing to inform his label about his financial decisions. These videos are bold, strange, and very silly. It's a mix of dark humor, absurd visuals, and abstract clothing, combining old school styles with futuristic looks. You get a dramatic, exaggerated story in each that makes ordinary scenarios seem ridiculously over the top. Couldn't recommend them more. Whether you like it or hate it, you have to admit there is something unique about Oliver Tree's voice. There is no other artist that sounds like him in pop. The nasalness of his tone makes him a make or break. I've personally gotten used to it over the years, which is a common story for others, so we found it interesting going back to his older sound under Tree to see his voice is a lot less nasal than it is now, even as a developing younger boy. People, for example, of how flailing they appear to be. In Demons seeming like a cry for help. Possibly the crisp multi-layering done in a professional studio had this effect, or it could be intentional for the distinct character he portrays. Done by one distorted and clean vocal layer, making tracks like the emotional Artie Mesa, the ambient stuck down the wrong rabbit hole, When I'm Down, Enemy, Hurt, and the use of falsetto on With You work a lot better than they should. A rasp grittiness that just does something to your brain, even during his country album. What I was most surprised by was his voice for rapping, which is shockingly effective. I honestly like it more than his singing sometimes, such as Ugly Side, where he reminds me of NF but less family friendly. That's a compliment, by the way. The nasalness truly attacks the track effectively, bringing a sort of intensity that I wasn't expecting for hip-hop related tunes like the abstract Tolly, entertaining all that where he sounds like he's having so much fun, Bury Me Alive and When You're Around. A vibe that's just hard to explain. The man also knows how to write a catchy song when he wants to. That'll get stuck in your head no matter how annoying it will sound, like Life Goes On. Other earworms are When I'm Down, Alien Boy, Turn It Up, Things We Used to Do, and Essence. I believe for Tree's voice, after you get used to it, you never want to stop hearing it. He'd be a good voice actor. Oh wait. Oliver is a diverse artist that has pretty much attempted every genre at this point. Since the beginning, we've seen him go from the dark, atmospheric indie pop on Demons, to cleverly produced DIY-like experiments on Splitting Branches, to electropop on the Alien Boy EP, to punk trap on Do You Feel Me and Ugly is Beautiful, to country folk on Cowboy Tears, to alt-pop Eurodance on Alone in a Crowd. We can also put in the rapping experiments he does across his discography. I also found this holiday version of Life Goes On.
Life goes oiny, noiny, 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 oiny, noiny, non, Saint Nick.
Based on the genres he hasn't done yet, I'm guessing he'll be making gospel music on his fourth album. Hallelujah. It is impressive how one artist can manage to pull off at least one of each genre and somehow fit it within the rest of his catalog. Why does the so-called greatest country album of our generation, Cowboy Tears, just seem so Oliver? I'm aware he's mocking it in some way just by listening to Playing with Fire, but Oliver Tree might just be the pioneer of emo country. Morgan Wallen, Jelly Roll, Bailey Zimmerman are shaking in their boots. But you know what? There is a charm to what he does, shown by the fact he writes all of his songs. Even on tracks that fail or you might not like, it is a fascinating catastrophe. I respect someone that does what they want with their art no matter what their label or fans say. He quite literally disses both groups in his music. Take a look at I Hate You and Let Me Down. I picture the man just spitballing whatever is on his mind and going for it, if his videos haven't proved anything. But while we are on the topic of production, Oliver has a stellar beat selection himself, as he does have production credits on all of his songs. He is also helped out by longtime friends like Weefin, who just seems to be making nothing but magic together. Obvious example is When I'm Down, but you can't forget the electro rock combination Hurt that turned out great. Do You Feel Me is another great collaboration from the two, evident by this funky dance instrumental accompanied by the thick bass. When the guitars ramp up on the pre-chorus, that gets me pumped. As distorted as Cash Machine sounds, it honestly works with the acoustic lead. Gives me 21 Pilots vibes. Welcome to LA is a funkified good time that showcases one of the good parts of LA, the music, with those jazz elements. Let Me Down and All That go crazy too. I genuinely think the latter is my favorite song from him. I can unironically vibe out to that. Entertaining pop rap with hip hop elements including a wonderful guitar sample. Everything I could want from an Oliver track. We can honestly go back to the earlier days of Tree. Even the beats here are intoxicating. The eerie folktronica inspired cover of Radiohead's Karma Police that is impressive for a beginner. Stuck Down the Wrong Rabbit Hole presents us with a dreamy synth-filled backdrop. Tree knows how to adapt the chaos of his mind to the music. Glitchy synth acoustic tune people that sounds like it's gonna fall apart at any moment. The Progressive Warrior was created using Game Boys, synths, eggs, toasters, and scissors, and other unusual instruments. Psychedelic synth ballad Universal has like several twists and turns, including a harmonica towards the end. Even the video game effects make this beautiful. Catchy alt pop like Alien Boy that I'm sure aliens are bopping to in Area 51. Introspective is a punk trap percussion experiment, and Miracle Man is infectious pop rock. Me, Myself, and I has a neat hyperpop inspired breakdown on top of a solid punk instrumental. Then there's the impressive pop rock and boom bap combination Bury Me Alive. Catchy guitar riffs and melodies and Waste My Time. The atmospheric synth guitar outro goes hard too. Roaring guitar ballad I'm Gone concludes his debut. Jerk is Miss You if it was pop punk. Miss You is an EDM version of Jerk. Bounce ends with a neat guitar and synth solo. Finally, cutesy alt rock The First Night, and self-explanatory love song Highlight of My Life with an EDM beat straight out of 2015. Sometimes Oliver will just talk about complete nonsense that can be drowned out by the great production, but if you're looking for some heartbreakers in his catalog, All jokes aside, this man has been through a lot. He's truly an inspiration. He's about as honest as an artist can be in his music. He communicates his emotions effectively and promises his audience they are not alone. It's clear to see why he has such a cult fan base with the experiences he has detailed throughout the years in the most artistic ways possible. When you go from a spiral of addictions, nearly overdosing at Burning Man, to doing a world tour, you're gonna go all out. The Demons EP is a shockingly well-produced yet depressing record of drug addiction, struggles on the title track, wishing to stop and being trapped in depression on the stuck down the wrong rabbit hole. Splitting Branches captures the ugliest part of Tree's life as he was going through it. Artemisa is about Tree parting ways with his girlfriend in college when he was going to move to San Francisco. The failed aftermath of an attempted breakup is on This Is Separation. Ambition is to survive on a revival. I also see this as Tree promising he'll come back to music after going through college. Igniting the inner warrior in yourself on Warrior. Stand up for what you believe. When you're experiencing hurt in your life or even injury on When I'm Down, feeling like an outcast or alien to the human population on Alien Boy due to your quirks and differences, being authentic and letting your true self shine. I do find it eerie that two teens who committed murder decided to sing this while they were being detained. Moving on, a rejection of LA is on Welcome to LA, full of liars, and he could be one too. He believes nothing is good about it. I don't plan to visit anytime soon, but thanks for the description, Mr. Tree. Introspective is Oliver examining and questioning his own head full of regrets and hurt, getting lost in your thoughts, not being enough for someone on Miracle Man, while also being that push someone would need to get up and work for their dreams, waiting for a miracle that will only waste your limited time. Hurt details Oliver's scooter accident at 18 during a competition, which led to a serious injury. This was one of the first songs he wrote when he got into producing. He thinks about how no matter what tricks he can pull off, someone will always do better. His best way to cope is to try to ignore the voices and people who have left him behind, while reflecting how his life has changed because of his career and fame. Me, Myself, and I encourages not being afraid to say something silly, as it's better than saying nothing at all. Growing up since the 90s, he's always got back up when he fell, like on 1993. He also questions if he should be more transparent about who he really is instead of being this turbo character. How he nearly died at the 2010 Burning Man festival on Bury Me Alive. Instead of letting drugs take over, he let music take over, being seen as a joke by the music industry and jokes on you for his appearance. The lesson is that you shouldn't judge people by their appearance. Love yourself and don't take life too seriously. I'm Gone is the apparent termination of his turbo character that he blames on his toxic fanbase in the industry. Life Goes On shows how, no matter what happens, life keeps moving forward. All in all, reminds me of a therapy session with Tree reassuring someone that it's not their fault life gets tough and it happens often. All in all, it's just another brick in the wall. Lies Came Out My Mouth is the idea of living a lie and facing its consequences, likely in reference to Turbo's character. Cowboys Don't Cry details an off and on again relationship coming back around like a carousel. Melody reference? Then there is believing life events are overhyped, like a threesome in Oliver's case on Swing and a Miss. So don't stress about missing out when they turn out to be credit card scammers. Just enjoy life as it happens. Looking back on a past relationship on Get Well Soon where it started as positive but later became toxic. Trying to fix someone that can't be fixed. We have Cash Machine and Suitcase Full of Cash, which both pretty much find money to be pointless, talking about society's greed and how no amount of money is ever enough or truly brings happiness. You may have earned a lot of it, but what have you done to make an impact on the world? Cigarettes is about a cigar addiction that Tree had been struggling with since 15. He thankfully quit on February 15, 2021. The Personal Balloon Boy sees Oliver choosing to chase his dreams, even if it means sacrificing his life and drifting away from family, friends, and relationships. He feels like he is floating away, hanging by a thin thread, and it could break at any moment. Trying to be the perfect man on Playing with Fire, but ends up being seen as a liar and reflects on the consequences of his actions. A lover thinking of suicide and cowboy tears, and Oliver's determination to do whatever it takes to stop them. Finally, feeling lonely in a crowd of many on Strangers and Invisible Man. We might never know who Oliver Tree really is. What is true or what is fake? But I think these messages can give us a good idea. As unusual and unordinary as Tree seems to be, he is just like us. How about some comedic relief after that heavy section? Oliver Tree is a funny dude. I mean, just look at him. His skits, interviews, podcast appearances, and vines are just pure insanity. Do not steal this man's wig. He somehow made KSI seem like a normal person. Yes, he has a song with him. Whether it's the dude just randomly crashing out and retiring every other month, it is hard to take Oliver Tree seriously. But you know, his music is probably the thing he takes the most serious. Funny how a man can be so unserious, yet his songs have this like deep meaning to them. You get instances of his goofy personality on Mind Control with that goofy accent. How about when he featured himself on 1993 as Lil Ricky? The entirety of Welcome to the Internet is brain rot. Plus, Bounce is about sex. Yes, this guy has sex, making it funnier than it should be. Speaking of intercourse, Fairweather Friends is about his experience with escorts, calling them Fairweather Friends, who aren't there during tough times. Thought we were about to get some reggae, but then it switched into a trap song. I'm that friend who will fuck your bitch, but don't dip before I roll the spliff. Tight like that pussy got Gorilla Grip. What rapper wrote this for him? 2 Chainz? This doesn't even sound like something that would come out of his mouth. I don't know how this man can pull off the wackiest antics possible with a straight face. This man refuses to break character. One day he could be breaking a world record for the world's biggest scooter, proceeding to crash it, and other days he is protesting KSI's boxing matches and intimidating Ethan Klein. This man has been clip farming before it became trendy. Oliver Tree is a unique human being, if he is actually human. His eccentricity, his commitment to his art through the personas, album rollouts, and performances is crazy. You can tell that despite his workload, he genuinely loves what he does. And of course, his music is really good. For me, Oliver Tree's project is all about world building. He's created a world unlike any other artist, and he's fully committed to living in it no matter what anyone thinks of that. And he doesn't give a fuck about what anyone thinks, which is encouraging and punk in its own right. Ugly is beautiful mostly, but he also seems like the sort of artist who doesn't really want to stick to one genre and just wants to make whatever sounds good to him. And he knows how to put on an engaging live show as well. Incredible talent and deep love for his fans and supporters. His characters are often childish, selfish, or even generally rude, but the real Oliver is one of the most humble and appreciated people there is. I like how unique he is, how every album is a different vibe, genre, the characters, how funny of a guy he is, even when he's not even character. The music is catchy, a lot of it is relatable, a lot of it just genuinely a banger. He's weird in the best way. Before Alone in a Crowd, he had some tunes that really resonated with being an outcast or underdog, but maintaining being your authentic self out of spite because it's better to be original and an outcast than accepted and generic. Alone in a Crowd didn't really touch on those subjects. I like it, but only at face value. I think that's kind of the point with the Cornelius Cummins character. Just my opinion though. He is hilarious. His commitment to the bit and trolling is incredible. That's why I first started listening. He has a very distinct sound voice unlike any other musician I've heard, and I love it. Music is actually really good and very relatable to regular guys like me.
Welcome to the internet, we're living in a meme. Digital.
Look, it can be hard not to hate Oliver Tree. As I've said before, a lot of people find his voice and character to be annoying and cringe. It's a unique style he has that can take a while to get used to. Songs like Let Me Down, Lies Came Out of My Mouth, Life Goes On, Freaks and Geeks in California, where his vocals are at their most nasal. Some have called Tree's songs underwritten and edgy cringe. The overuse of Life Goes On and Miss You on TikTok got annoying in record time. Out of Ordinary is about how he is so different and everyone else is boring. Ironic because of how boring this one is. The hook is lifeless. Swimmer's Delight has 5 unique sentences in total, insanely repetitive. I did find parts of his production to be pretty hard to listen to sometimes. While it is unique, it doesn't always turn out good. Revival begins with a noisy passage that sounds like a sink running. The drums sound like a whip. Might be too quirky for me, especially with all those over-stimulating sounds towards the back ends. Let Me Down, I Hate You, and Get Well Soon have this annoying vocal breakdown. You're Not There is ear-piercing. Heck, the entirety of Welcome to the Internet sucked. As for Cowboy Tears, look, I'm a big country fan, so I don't mind the change in style. But I wish every song didn't sound the same and blend in with one another. No attempt at an Oliver line dance song, no bluegrass, no honky-tonk or western swing isn't an interesting direction to go into if you don't use the genre's strengths. I just wish the production was more organic. Where's the pedal steel? Instead, we get stale country trap rap, suitcase full of cash, and playing with fire. If the theory behind this album being a whole mockery of country music, why would you make an entire album out of it and kill your career? I've heard some say the deluxe has better tracks. After hearing the way he said sunshine, I knew it was time to move on to the next project. Alone in a Crowd returns back to the alt-pop vibe of his Alien Boy EP. While the lyrics are nothing special, it is good to hear something groovy and listenable. Does it get repetitive after a while? Yes, but it's an improvement. I just wish the tracks weren't so short. Star and Ugly Side could have been so much better. Some hate for Oliver doesn't even stem from his music. There are false allegations he abused Melly Martinez that she rejected. Another controversy was when he used late K-pop star Jung Hoon's funeral picture to promote his tour. Tree apologized and said he had no clue of the image's context. Plus, him purposely acting like an asshole to fans to sell his character can be off-putting. Another reason longtime fans or ex-fans are hesitant about Oliver nowadays is the disappointment of his current music in comparison to his older stuff, believing Splitting Branches and many parts of Ugly is Beautiful to be miles better than albums like Cowboy Tears, which isn't a wrong opinion, honestly. Oliver was simply in a different mental space back then, making the music a lot more emotional by default. He isn't going to make the same thing forever. He clearly wants to evolve, even if it seems like he's sold out. The final reason people aren't a fan of Oliver: being accused of making songs that are TikTok bait, even taking advantage of the sped up nightcore market. Why else does he have a sped up version of his most recent album just sitting on streaming services? Now, let's talk about Miss You. Small German DJ Southstar released a remix of Oliver Tree's Jerk from Ugly is Beautiful called Miss You on May 9th, 2022. However, because Southstar used Tree's vocals without permission, the song was re-released on July 30th, 2022 with new vocals and as a single, pretty much like a cover. But then, another remix appeared from another much more famous German DJ, Robin Schulz. It was released days later on August 5th, 2022, credited to Schulz and Oliver. There were now two remixes of Jerk called Miss You that sound practically identical. This resulted in a lot of pushback, seeming like Oliver just hopped on a bigger, more established artist remix that he allegedly stole, and leaving the smaller artist in the dust. Southstar's original remix became a hit in Germany, while Schultz's version struggled to gain attention at first. It ultimately became more famous, as it has 400 million more streams than Southstar's remix as of March 2025. Here's the truth though: Oliver didn't know Southstar's version existed. Tree's record label presented him with the Robin Schulz version, which had a slightly altered beat, but was nearly identical. Oliver Tree approved it for release as he didn't know about Southstar's release. This led to months of legal disputes between Tree's label and Southstar's label before they finally reached an agreement allowing both versions to coexist. No wonder Oliver hates Atlantic. Plus the fact it got tacked on to his third album to make sure it didn't flop as hard makes it even more sick. Going into this video, I wasn't sure what I would find so appealing about Oliver Tree. I hadn't enjoyed a lot of his stuff in the past, so I was shocked at how much his music grew on me. I'm either maturing as a person or the opposite. Not quite sure. Either way, Oliver is a unique artist in the music industry that we will likely never fully understand. Something tells me that's okay. The dude is an absolute star that deserves his privacy. Definitely excited to hear about his next album that is apparently coming this year. From his high budget, well-crafted music videos to his unique vocal tone, to the off-kilter production, to the dark, honest storytelling, to the hilarious personality, Oliver Tree has won me over. How about you? If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, leave any other suggestions for this series below. I'm aware I'm sick. I'm getting better, y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one. Make sure to love all, and peace.